The Morgan Report with David Morgan. Discover how to build and protect your wealth at themorganreport.com.
David Morgan with the Morgan Report, weekly perspective for the week ending 20 September 2024. Well, we're almost at the end of the year, as we all know. And I thought I would go through Bob Johnson's gold sheet to show how things went this year in the metals and also oil. So obviously, year to date, when we're almost at the very end of the year, as we all know, as I said, aluminum is up about 6%, cobalt's down 15%, copper's up nearly 4%, lead off about 4%, nickel off about 8%, tin up 12%, and zinc up about 12%. As of this week, gold is up 27% for the year, silver's up 24% for the year. It's interesting, other precious metals, palladium's off 17% for the year, and platinum's off almost 7% for the year. Interestingly, the stock indexes for the metals, the HUI is up 15%, while gold itself is up almost double that. And the XAU, which is the more conservative precious metals or gold index really, is up 10% or almost 11%, and gold is almost up triple that. So certainly in that time frame, those indexes did not beat the price. In fact, they were far inferior to the actual metal itself. That's not true in every stock. As I've said in the past, we have a couple that were hitting new highs recently that have outperformed both the HUI and XAU. But regardless, on aggregate, you can see that you'd be much better off this past year or this year from the beginning being in gold and silver rather than in either of the indexes. Crude, it's about flat. It's off 2.5% for the year. Heating oil is off about 12%. Natural gas is up 50%. As you can see, and gasoline's off almost 8%. I'm on the main landing page here at themorganreport.com, and I want to bring to your attention, if you haven't watched this for a while, that we have the free list available here at the upper right. It's pretty easy to find. Before it was sort of buried. And I also want to go to our YouTube page. And there's something I've talked about before, and that's the community channel, which is right here. This is the Morgan Report on YouTube. Go to the community button, or tab rather. And I just posted this. I just finished listening to this. It's almost 2 hours long, but it's very, very much worth your time if you're involved in Bitcoin or thinking about getting into Bitcoin or thinking about selling Bitcoin, or you're just interested in the history of Bitcoin. This was a great interview by Catherine Austin Fitts. Most of you would know of her, founder of Solari, and worked in the government level, looked into the fraud in the government. Quite a woman, actually. And anyway, her interview with this gentleman that worked with Roger Ver on this book, fascinating look at Bitcoin. And again, I encourage everybody to have a look at it. And on that topic, if you go to the blog, and I've talked about this before, and you go into the search engine here, and you type in crypto conspiracy, you will get the 30 podcasts, basically, of the crypto conspiracy. Now, I'm not putting myself at the same level of the interview that was just accomplished by Catherine Austin Fitts. What I am suggesting is that we were onto this quite some time ago, and very fascinating dive into what really took place with Bitcoin. And I really think that there's a few of these that you might want to check out. One of them is episode 14, the Crypto Conspiracy Podcast, episode 14, the other side of crypto that nobody's talking about. This was with Kurt Wuckert, who is an archivist. He's been with Bitcoin almost from the inception, and he knows what's really gone on. And I forget the dates on these, but it's been a while. In other words, again, John Perez, myself primarily, but others were involved, just questioning, what's really going on here. And of course, we found some very interesting things. one of the earlier podcasts, we went in and talked to John on that one, and we went through a way to look at who's involved, and it's I think it's on episode 3 or 4. You might check it out, but regardless, I wouldn't suggest you listen to them all, but I would say number 14 probably give you, if you want the short version of really this whole interview that I just pointed out with Catherine Austin Fitz, episode 14 on our Crypto Conspiracy series is sort of a small Cliff Notes version of what went on in that hour and 47-minute discussion with Catherine. And just a couple of things from the Twitter account at SilverGuru22. Judy Shelton interview I reposted. I thought this was interesting. This is North Korea stole 1.3 billion Bitcoin through crypto hacks in 2024. You can judge for yourself. It's from the Financial Times, whether it's totally accurate or not. India's record gold import said to be due to a calculation error. That's interesting. And there's a few more in here. Certainly, my friend Bob Coleman looks pretty deeply into what's going on in all the markets. Bob is a registered investment advisor, a fund manager, as well as holding into the precious metals buy and sell side. So I'm going to leave it there for this week. Wish everyone happy holidays. If I don't get to this next week, I may not. It's Christmas week. I will be traveling next week and visiting family, and may not have the time or the inclination to do a podcast next week for the weekly perspective, but I may. Regardless, whatever you are holiday-wise, I wish you a good one. If you're Merry Christmas, and I'll be back with you either next week or beginning of the new year.